Hello, and welcome back. Last time we left this series, we had just finished Bleakrock Isle, which is probably, in terms of listing, like in a ranking, it's probably definitely on the lower end of base game zones. There's just not a whole lot going on there. It's not very visually striking. I suppose that's the point, but, you know, I hope that place gets improved significantly when the updates finally roll out. Since I didn't exactly give a refresher on the Bleakrock video as to exactly what this series is, real quick, this is a time capsule, a means to showcase locations in the game that will be changed as the overworld is being updated once 2025 rolls around, starting with the tutorial zones in March. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Today, we're doing Bal Foyen. So, we're right where we left off. I don't think you can really talk to anybody. No, I guess you can.
I'm so glad I could save all these lives. And all these coins as well. These poor, innocent coins. I will protect them.
Yeah, I'm sorry, he was just talking way too slow. My bad.
Comrade, I'm heading to Fort Zirin to join the defenders. Perhaps I'll see you there.
The river delivers you to Bal Foyen. Welcome. Hungry?
Where did you come from?
Sister and I came down from Dalmora, our village just up the path. Mise, my brother fetches glitter, and I run trade in Bal Foyen. Now, as I was saying, hungry?
We saw the boat, so we came to help with drink and food, and you have coin, yes?
Yeah, we came to help. Totally not to capitalize on this horrible event that has occurred. Yeah, so it looks... Narratively, this place is interesting because it, like I said in the last video, Bleakrock really does serve as a, how do I put it? As an introduction to the war, where most of the other zones don't really have a whole lot going on. The Pact is heavily focused on the conflict at hand. It's very focused on the Three Banners War. But right off the bat, you'll notice there's a gateway over there. That, as far as I'm aware, didn't exist before. They've added that in to account for the fact that we now have the, the Telvanni Peninsula, so there needs to be a way to get in there, you know, naturally, and Bal Foyen is that means of getting in, I suppose, so they just kind of... You can even see the point where they added in a road, because it clearly doesn't exist. Like, this is a beach. There is no road here, but they put one in anyway. It's a little ramshackle, but I don't really know where else they could put it. One of the things I would like when they overhaul these zones is to make the entrances to places that were added in later look much more natural than this slapdash construction that we have here. Because, like, what does that doorway lead to? The mountain? Like, come on now. Also, right away, you'll notice the rock walls, because it's literally what they are. They're just walls. Don't look very good. That's something... You know, like I said, it's going to be a very consistent theme with the visual overhaul, I'd hope, is that the rocks need to be better. They need to be better. The rocks and the trees, specifically, like, a lot of this stuff looks pretty rough. Like, that looks rough. There's just a low-quality element to a lot of this stuff. Like, the mushrooms, I think, visually are fine, but I mean, like, texture-wise, yeah, that could use some work. That could use some sprucing. Like, it's all a little too plain for me. But, let's carry on. Let's keep talking to these people. What we got here?
Hey there, my friend. Vivek keep you safe. May Vivek keep us all safe, eh?
Ayman, be brave. I'll send you off with the other villagers. You'll be safe. I need your help. We need to make the Covenant pay for what they did on Bleakrock, all right?
Raleigh, what are you thinking? You've got that look in your eye.
I've never trained with a sword. Do you think maybe I could just use a wood axe?
No, Litrick. Hold the blade like so. Sorry, friend. No time to talk right now.
I'm going to join up, and nothing Mother says will stop me. I'm not too young. I can hold a sword. I'm ready to fight. I'm better than my daft brother Litrick anyway.
I don't know what I'm going to do. Trinhild wants to run off and join the war. Litrick already has a sword. My home, my family. What else can they take from me?
Yeah, this whole thing here is actually quite an interesting story, because we're seeing the active effects of the war that we don't really get a lot of throughout the rest of the game. And in fact, Aira here does turn up later in the game, and it kind of is a direct result of the events that occur within this zone, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Evacuate, they said. I'm going to lie here and look at the sky for a while. I think if I stood up, I'd fall down.
I'm thinking about joining up. I think the Pact needs a few stubborn curs like me.
I can't believe how few of us have made it. All that death. And for what?
Yeah, it is kind of crazy when you stop to think about it. Like, these people were just straight up murdered. Like, it wasn't even like a capture thing. It was just like, no, just kill all the civilians. Like, oh, jeez.
Sure take the whole Covenant. Look after Brend and Faltha. I already miss those milk drinkers.
Yeah, so they stayed behind and died.
Has to be sharp. Has to be very, very sharp. Has a lot of work to do, yes? Many new friends to make.
Fine goods for sale.
We're here. The villagers are safe for the moment. But the Covenant's still coming. We've got to get word to Darvin's Watch.
I'm ready, Rana. What do we do now?
We sprint. If we act quickly, we might be able to alert Darvin's Watch before the Covenant ships arrive. You ready? Go to the watchtower, just past the village of Dalmora. Tell the soldiers there to light the signal fires along the coast. The fires will warn Darvin's Watch that war is upon them.
Where are you headed?
I'm going to rally folks here and in Dalmora. Get the battle ready mustered. Send the non-combatants to safety with Daj. Now hurry. The fate of Darvin's Watch depends on you.
I'm on my way.
Get to the watchtower as soon as you can. There's just no time.
Where are we?
We're far southeast of Bleakrock. It's a coastal region of Morrowind called Bal Foyen. Behind you is the Inner Sea, and across that is the island of Vardenfell.
And what is Darvin's Watch?
It's the biggest port in Stonefalls, and one of the largest cities. Most of the trade on the Inner Sea passes through here at some point. It'll be the first place the Covenant hits. I just know it.
And what kind of town is Dalmora?
It's an Argonian town, full of canals, mud houses, and mosquitoes. Bal Foyen was just a swamp before the great houses donated it to their former slaves. Believe it or not, Fort Zirin used to be an entry point for the slaves brought from Black Marsh.
Depressing. Yeah, so theoretically, the way she puts it, we should be able to see Vardenfell, but really we shouldn't because of the way the bay is structured, so that makes sense at least. Oh, that's a real person. I was gonna say, oh, who's this? Yeah, no, the area is relatively boring, but I think one of the biggest things that needs adjustment is, quite frankly, these mud huts. Like, no offense, this is, like, miserable to look at. It's miserable to look at, and it really makes me wonder to the construction of these things. Like, how do you get it to form in such a way, and why does it have to look like this? Like, no offense, they look like poop houses. Like, they really, really do. And it's just not, they're not very good assets. Like, they look rough. Like, especially that, like, you got that up there. Like, what even? What even? Like, this makes a bit more sense. Like, okay, so they clearly use, like, the hull of trees, but then you've got a fire burning inside this, which is like, I don't know if that's the safest idea. Structurally, it looks actually pretty sound. You can even see that there is, like, a second floor, but there's no way to get in there. You know what I mean? What is the point of those, upper levels if you actually can't get to them? Why even have them?
Yes, I make armor.
Yeah, so all these people are just gonna have pretty basic, straightforward stuff, and a lot of them have the same voice actors on account of them all being Argonians.
I weave fabrics while I meditate.
And they all kind of say the same basic thing.
Wooden wonders for sale.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with all of them. It's gonna be a waste of time. And they're all Argonians, which is a nice touch. So they did basically make it so, like, yes, this is an Argonian town. You're not gonna see anybody else here.
I have many fine goods, direct from Davin's Watch.
What is Davin's Watch?
You're new to Stone Falls, one of the Bleakrock refugees. Then you'll need supplies, yes? Davin's Watch is the closest town to this village. It's a hub for traders from across the Pact.
You travel there often?
Once a month. I trade our guar hides and meat for smith's goods, fine tools, and luxuries. I used to bring back news from abroad, but people here aren't interested in much beyond their fields.
How can I get to Davin's Watch?
It's to the west, just through the mountain pass. You can walk there in less than a day. Though with the Covenant's problems, I might just postpone this month's trip.
Is there much business in this village?
I would make more elsewhere, especially in Ebonheart or Kraganmore, but I've chosen to stay in Dalmora. If one is patient, one can gain great treasure. So I hope, anyway.
Why do you stay here?
Family. Why would I leave my clutch mates? They love the mud's musk in Bal Foyen.
So we've got one quest guy over here, but I want to do a clean sweep of this little town. Because really, this is the only town in this area. Everything else is basically quest-related. But yeah, there ain't much to see.
Have you said your devotions to the three today?
Why do you gotta be so aggressive about it? Who are the three?
I hope you're joking. They're the three members of the Tribunal, the living gods of Morrowind. Almalexia the Mother, Sothasil the Wizard, and Vivek the Poet.
What do you mean, the living gods?
The three are elven in form. They feel the pleasures and pains of mortal flesh. Yet they are immortal, all-knowing, and immensely powerful. In the Akaviri War, Vivek flooded the battlefield and drowned the enemy. No mere mortal could do that.
And what do you do in the village?
I was sent by the Tribunal Temple in the town of Ebonheart. Disciple Sildris ordered me to bring the true religion to these heathen barbarians.
Heathen barbarians?
The Argonians, of course. Look around. Mud huts, spears, cave paintings. This is the pinnacle of their culture. Our people wasted centuries trying to civilize them. They're as stubborn as guar.
Yeah, jeez. Have you converted any of them?
They listen politely, ask questions, and go back to worshipping trees. I blame the shaman, Veth Vadel. They call her mother. She poisons their minds with her pagan heresies.
Right.
You're the one who did.
Oh.
Forget about me.
Yeah, so it would seem that that is everything here. Or at least everyone. It's a small town. There's really not a whole lot going on. And visually not very striking. So we do have our first instance of the Dark Elf architecture right there. And I will say, I'm actually fine with the base game Dark Elf architecture. It's close enough to what we kind of see, like what's going on in Mournhold and in Morrowind, like in actual Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. It's pretty close. It's pretty close in such a way that I wouldn't be upset if they just kept it the way it was.
They say the...
Alright, let's talk to this quester over here.
I've lost my family. I don't know what I'll do.
Your family's missing?
There were scary noises in the fields. Some of my Gwar ran away. I'm worried about them. But I can't leave the Gwar who stayed behind. They're too frightened.
So your Gwar herd is your family?
Of course. Gwar are noble creatures, and they're hard workers. You've got to find them. Here, take some stinkweed. It's their favorite food. Their stomachs will lead them home. Home to me.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you so much. My poor children. I don't know if I could go on without them.
Why do you treat your Gwar like family?
Because they are. They haul our goods. They eat our trash. Gwar are magnificent. And I have heard rumors about the Covenant. If they attack, who but the Gwar will carry our belongings to safety?
Alright, so we've got our first kind of spread about quest, and as you'll see, they're in many different locations. And each zone kind of has a quest that's like that. So we can kind of ignore it for now and carry on with our main quest here. It'll also give us a good look at the rest of the zone. I want to zoom out a bit so we can get more of a grasp of what we're looking at here. It really is just a lot more of the same, as it were. I mean, I say a lot more of the same. You'll know what I mean once we get into Stonefalls. This region really isn't all that different, and it was described as a swamp, which... it really doesn't strike me that way. But you can see just from looking at Bal Foyen compared to Stonefall's map, which is just lifeless, and that's kind of because Stonefalls is more in line with what we see in Deshaan, and honestly, oddly enough, a little bit of what we see in the Telvanni Peninsula, and that's because it is more of a greener area. There's more life here. It's an odd combination of what we see in Deshaan and what we see in Stonefalls. It's kind of what I like about the region. It's still full of life while simultaneously being like a craggy, mountainous region. And yeah, real quick, we can actually get a good look at most of the zone from right here. Or maybe not most of the zone, but a good chunk of it. We'll just take a quick look at it. That way we can really see what we mean here. But yeah, I guess I see what they're saying about it being a marshland, but a lot of that is just the fact that it's plantations. Right? Like, the plantations kind of outline the way the zone looks. Yeah, it's a bit barren, per se, but I think that's just because most of the land is taken up by this plantation, and that's it. Yeah, like, even the texture quality on the base game Dark Elf architecture is actually pretty solid. Like, it's pretty decent quality to begin with. Makes me wonder if it was some of the last stuff that they made. Alright. So now we can venture downward and really get a sense of the world at hand. And as you see, the water is sickly and green, and that's just kind of how the Morrowind water ended up looking. Not really too thrilled by that, but you know, it is what it is. Hello.
I cursed the word dagger. I'd show these dryskins, had I one of my own.
What's going on out here?
Covenant scouts are burning the fields. We were working the crops and they started killing. Please. There are others with me out here. Batuus, Vudilal, and Noluaza.
I'll find them, Winoxi. So now we have a second quest that is basically, hurry, find the people, do the thing. And you'll find pretty quick that a lot of this game is just that.
You don't wear the lion crest. Please, help.
Can you make it back to town?
With your aid, Moist One. My thanks.
Hurry. And I do find it interesting, right, like the Covenant's already here. And by the time you make it to Fort Zeren, you'll actually probably see in the distance, right? Because if you ignore that quest and just go straight back into town and through here, you might not run into any Covenant, but like they're already here burning the crops, right? Like they are here. Actively so.
Please, my scales are slick. Don't send me to Sithis.
The path to town should be clear.
I'll dance on the water, thank you.
Move. But honestly, like, the layout of this place, like I said before, it's one of the stronger locations, right? Because it's got this sheer cliffside, which I'm not super opposed to. Like, it's not the worst looking thing in the world, but it could be better.
The Covenant is everywhere.
Can you make it back to town?
I think so. Thank you. I'll see you down the river.
Go. And that guy's up there, which we won't be able to get to for some time, I think. Or at least not easily. Oh, he's also up there. Interesting. Was that the last one? I do believe so. I guess we can talk to this guy up here as well. Yeah, crossing this bridge gives you a pretty good sense of exactly the scale of this region. I think it could be spiced up a bit, though, for sure. But there's certain spots that look quite good, I think, anyway. Like this area, right, like you can tell it needs work, right? It's something about the sheer cliff edge and how it just kind of ends. And like there's no actual flow to this water, it's actually incredibly stagnant, which is odd because you've got a waterfall flowing into it. It should be flowing in some way, like back out into the sea here, but you know, hopefully those things get changed, and they aren't just left as they are.
A moment, please. No one else will listen. I have an idea that could help turn the tide against the Covenant.
What's your idea?
Bal Foyen doesn't have much of a militia to defend it, but we do have Netch. Netch bulls are usually docile, but when they think their herd is threatened, they're fearsome.
You want to attack the Covenant with Netch?
That's right. When a Betty or Netchling feels threatened, it secretes a kind of oil that provokes a bull's rage. I collected some oil and coated these sterile Netch eggs with it. Throw them at the daggers. The Netch bulls should attack them.
I'll give it a try. Yeah, the issue with this quest is it's one of those, you need enemies around, and if the area is too populated, it kind of, makes it incredibly difficult to actually do what you need to do. But, overall, it's not that bad. It's still nice and easy. We're in the beginning phase of the game. They're not gonna throw anything terribly difficult at us. Alright, and that was super quick. It's done in like 2 seconds. So here's Fort Zeren.
Are you here to stand with Fort Zeren?
That guy looks pretty cool. And the fort has kind of an interesting layout. For one, it's a massive fort, right? There's a lot going on here in Fort Zeren. Like, it is quite huge. And you'll see there's many refugees here, which almost kind of implies that they're either from different places or also from Bleakrock, but that would be kind of odd because no one else made it out.
Any training would be welcome, stranger.
I'll get this. I want to be alive tomorrow.
But yeah, now we're kind of faced with the worst looking side of the mountains, because this place looks rough. It is not the prettiest. But as you can see, some of our characters have already made it here.
Watch your form there, son. Hold the sword higher, over your heart. Take care during the battle, friend.
Father and I are training hard. I think we'll be ready.
While hunting on Bleakrock, we ran into bandits sometimes. Bandits and wolves. Never fought in a war before. I wonder what tomorrow will be like.
And everyone knows that, like, imminent death is coming, right? Like, they know the fight is gonna happen. That's why everyone's kind of on a bit of a downturn. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and talk to all these conscripts because it's not gonna be worth our time. But I am just kind of strolling around, looking at the location. There is a lot of barren emptiness in here, right? A lot of things that could be filled out, or at least spruced up, made to look a bit better.
I don't know what I'm going to do. Trinhild wants to run off and join the war.
Yeah, she's got the same dialogue as before, nothing's changed. We can climb the tower, which is nice. Gives us a pretty good view of everything. I do wish that later entries in the game gave us more things like this, right? Stuff that basically just kind of gave us a view of everything. Because they kind of stopped doing this after a while, and I'm not entirely sure why. You know, because I think having little overlooks is actually like a really neat way to, I don't know, endear people to the land, make it feel more alive, right? Because, like, once you get, like, past Orsinium, a lot of locations tend to lock off their watchtowers and whatnot, or there's a lot of doors that you no longer will be able to enter, because they kind of garner that philosophy of, if there's no point in going in there, why even bother? And it's like, I understand, but just to make the world feel more alive, more lived in, it kind of adds a benefit, rather than just keeping it, you know, locked away. So I think Trinhild should be around here somewhere then, if her mother was there.
Help me.
But yeah, like this over here, you'll see a lot of barren emptiness. Now, there's not really a whole lot they can add to stuff like this to spruce it up, but I always find, yeah, like, look, they even got little, like, it's more or less a place to hide little items that you can get in the game, less so to actually fill out with space, but there's always room for world building, right? Like, you could have poorer people or other refugees tucked away in those corners, rather than just keeping them, you know, bland and empty. Because stuff like that does make the world feel a bit, well, empty. Makes it seem like there's nobody here, really. Right, like up on this tower, there's nothing up here. Which kind of conveys an odd feeling. Of, like, you know, emptiness. Barren landscape, you know, it's not exactly a good look. Still no sign of Trinhild. I guess we can climb up the stairs now. Is that Rexus? No, that's just a dog. Odd, I wonder if I missed her. Like if she was further out front or something. Yeah, the fort's pretty barren. It does have a way shrine, which is kind of nice. Because I think this location... I think this only has the two-way shrine. It's got this, and it's got the docks. Which are honestly pretty good central positions to give, because there's not really a whole lot else going on in this zone. But I find it interesting that this place gets two, and Bleakrock just has the one. In fact, I think Bleakrock literally is, like, the smallest location, because there really is nothing else going on here.
Darsh told me to stay out of the way. He said I shouldn't look threatening during the battle. I think I can do that.
Ah, you know what? I think all of the other people are going to be down at the docks. Because I vaguely remember that being a thing. I wonder, can we go inside the keep? I don't remember if we ever have to. Okay, here's the rest of the people. Yeah, and it's like a proper barracks, too. Like, many beds.
Oh, you game. Thank you. We're going to need all the help we can get.
Be careful, Galund. You're not a hero. You be careful too, friend.
I've been practicing since we got to the fort. I think I'll be able to pitch in here and there at the edges of the battle.
Yeah, not really a whole lot going on in here. It really is just stacked with beds, which is something I like, because, you know, this implies that it is the barracks of the keep, but you almost never see anything like that anywhere else in the game. It's actually one of the few times you'll encounter, how do I put it, proper world building, Right, like, there's many beds in here, and it still wouldn't be enough for the amount of people that are supposedly in this place, but you know what I mean. An attempt was made that isn't normally made anywhere else. But let's actually carry on.
Need a blade? I hope not. I don't have any to spare.
A raid hit the Dalmora watchtower. I need kindle pitch to light the fires.
I'm fresh out. Bit of an accident in the storeroom with a lantern, I'm afraid. Suddenly, no more kindle pitch.
Where can I get more?
Check the dockyards. Laneem just offloaded a fresh supply. When you see her, warn her about the attack. She's such a fragile lizard. Don't want her going to pieces.
I will, Quartermaster. Thank you. Alright, now off to the docks. And you'll notice as well, the weather here kind of omits ash, because we are so close in proximity to stone falls that the ash from their volcanoes naturally drifts over in this direction. Which is a small detail that I like. Most people would just assume, oh, it's because it's Morrowind. It's like, oh, well, no, not necessarily. Right, I don't think Deshaun actually gets any of the ash fall from Stonefalls. It's exclusive to this zone and Stonefalls, the ash, which is a nice touch. And I suppose Vardenfell as well gets it. Ah, I should get that overlook there first before I head my way down there. Oh, come on, get up the hill. Yeah, overall, in terms of zones, I really like this one. Like, the overall look isn't really too harmed by the rocks, right? Like, in fact, like, this area, feeling as plain and barren as it is, I don't know. A part of me kind of likes the empty space. And here we've got a nice little plantation overlook, but unfortunately I can't really see anything because we are in an ash storm, so can't really get any good photos that way. I suppose we can. Yeah, we'll take the road. We'll take the road. Be much easier that way. In fact, I think we can get on our horse and ride. And you'll notice in some spots, like on that overlook, there was like the black grass that's unique to Stonefalls and whatnot. Nice details here and there, like I said. We've got a windmill. And overall, I like the terrain in this area, right? Like, the layout of it is all pretty nice. It's just, like, when you get things like that sheer rock face, right? That doesn't look particularly good. Whatever that rock is doing up there doesn't look particularly good, right? Those are all things that could and really should be spruced up just to make the world a bit more believable, make it look a bit better. Right, and interestingly, the water actually does start flowing again over here. It's just odd the way it's designed, I suppose, or laid out. And of course, there's many people here that just aren't even real.
Endril, aide to Centurion Mobereed, commander at Fort Zeron. We're here to secure the docks. If the Covenant attacks, we'll be ready for them.
This pup is confident that we'll repel the daggers. After Bleakrock, I'm not confident in anything. The only things I trust are my blade, my sergeant, and you.
How do we look?
Not sure. I think we'll hold. The biggest surprise today is the smallest Earth-turner.
Trinhild is here.
3 keep us, yes. She's on the other side of the bridge. Rolanda's sparring with her even now. Trin's got the fire of a dark elf and the strong back of a Nord.
The fight on Bleakrock was hard. The fight for Bal Foyen will be harder. Will you take a moment and pray with me?
Of course, Sane.
Vivek, how many lifetimes of lament must we travel? I pledge myself on the rubble of broken hearths and houses. The fire in my heart is fierce. Let it consume me. I say the words in your name, Vivek.
I think, like, there's nice touches here and there, right? Like, we actually see people engaging with their religions, something you don't really see a whole lot later in the game.
These dock workers would sleep the day away if they could. Dries my scales. Sorry, friend. Too busy to talk.
And they are actually just training.
They seem very intent, yes. Training as if there is no tomorrow. I think perhaps it is time I went west to join my cousins in Lukil Uxith.
What's Lukil Uxith?
It's an Argonian town west of Ebonheart. The name means something like place of assimilated lizards. The name is a slur, or it used to be. Today my people are proud to stand with the Dark Elves.
We've got one quest over here.
You look brave. Brave like my Gaina. Please help me.
What's wrong?
I fear she's been eaten by Nyx hounds. I'm terrified of them. She made me a flute. Said it would calm them. To prove her point, she went up the trail behind me. A pack of beasts lives up there.
I can try to find her.
Or what's left of her. Whatever state she's in, please bring her back.
I will.
How could I have let her do this? Oh, Gaina.
Why did she want to prove herself?
Sometimes Gaina's a strange girl. She's a master crafter. In fact, she thinks she's one of the best woodcarvers on the coast. I think she wanted to show off for me. Silly girl.
And this will be a quick one and done.
It just ignored the flute. If this Nyx hound hadn't saved me, I would have been eaten.
What happened? Bishalis is worried about you.
I must have worried her terribly. Please, the hound that attacked me, it's sick. It's rabid.
Where did it go?
Further up the path. If it wanders down to the docks. My wound might be infected. If you can take care of the hound, I'll limp back to Bishalis.
I'll kill it. And it's just a random Nyx hound. They got music playing and everything for it, and it's just like basically putting down a dog. It's so unnecessary. She didn't limp back to town or anything. Oh, it's because she came up here.
She's alive. Hurt and frightened, but alive.
Good to see she's safe.
I have little to offer by way of reward other than my thanks. I doubt you'll remember two simple fishermen, but we'll never forget you. Disgusting bug dog. Gaina, are you sure you want to keep it?
Thank you again. I actually think this has been good for me. If you can't tame your own fear, how can you tame anything else?
Alright. One of the things I do really like about this place is the docks. I think the docks are quite nice. I do think it's funny how, because that's the Covenant vessel right there. I think it's hilarious that it is just sitting there, Because this game really didn't quite get a good handle on instanced locations. In fact, I don't think it ever did. Like, back in Kynarthi's Roost, you'll see the Prowler is in 2 locations at the same time. It's not capable of moving. So, they just kind of place it in one area and then continue to do so. I think it's quite funny. And this, I don't know what's going on here, but they're like building scaffolding on the boat. It's just a bit odd, whatever this is, you know? It just looks very strange. And you can go in the boat, but I don't know that there's really a reason to, at least not right now. I think eventually there will be. Yeah, hardly anyone to really talk to in this place. Maybe only a handful. Most of them are just fishermen.
No time for you. Got to keep my eyes open. We had a fishing vessel go out yesterday, and it hasn't come back yet. Weather's been good, so it could be trouble.
Yeah, and again we have the instances of we can see what's over here and there's really nothing. Like, especially, oh god, that looks so bad! Like that, just sheer cliff face. Oh, it looks awful. And then from here we should be able to see Vardenfell, and I don't think we can. Oh, there's a chest here. Oh, look at that. But yeah, a lot of these mountains really could use some sprucing up. Like, especially once you start looking at the edges you're not supposed to see. It's, you know, looking pretty bad. Of course, there's no actual way up to that front end of the ship, for some reason. I don't even think you can climb up there, yeah, no. I guess we can hit the Way Shrine real quick. Talk to this guy right here. There's another chest just sitting in the water here. Look at that.
There's a fish in these waters named fire scales. It's said to be nearly 6 feet long with eyes like coals. Ever seen such a thing? If you do, steer clear. Dangerous fish. Dangerous fish.
See, that's a neat concept. I don't think that ever comes up ever again. That's just something he says. A bit unfortunate. It'd be cool if that was a thing. Like, if you go fishing, you can actually catch it.
My whole life. Spent my whole life with him. And what do I have to show for it? Nothing. Shores, buttocks.
Greetings.
Oh, she actually doesn't have anything to say. Interesting. A named NPC is just kind of there, existing.
What can I do for you, friend? I'm waiting on my lady love, the beautiful Famdy. Isn't it a beautiful day?
I wonder where she is, if we can find her. Be funny if she was, like, actively hiding from him or something. Ah, here they are.
Whatever comes down the river, I'm ready. Let's see whose teeth are sharpest, yes?
You're ready for the Covenant?
Oh, yes. The lizard and the Nord with the stump. We shall stand in front of the wave and break it with our blades. Actually, I just hope we both survive. I've grown used to the dumb lumberjack.
A one-legged Nord versus the Daggerfall Covenant? Ha! poor milk-drinking daggers. They're as good as dead.
You and Runs and Wild seem to be getting along.
Aye. Boots and I get along very well. That comes from a deep, fervent love. A love of headshots at 100 paces. Swip! Thunk!
That's also another neat, interesting detail, right? Like, Runs and Wild is no longer talking to Mola, it would seem. He is off making new friends, right? It's almost as if the world actually exists. Right, wow, what a neat and novel concept. I wish we got more of that in this game. Unfortunate.
Looking for rations. Keep going down the river, friend. Everything here is spoken for.
The Covenant is attacked. I need kindle pitch to light the signal fires.
Raiders? In Bal Foyen? Take the kindle pitch. Warn the Watch. You are sunblessed for telling me. Have you spoken with Urona at the fort already?
She's the one who sent me to you.
Zuth, she's a crafty one. Very well. Consider the docks on alert. If you're going to light the fires, I can help you get there. Follow me, sun on my scales.
Alright.
We go now to a secret passage. It is really a storage tunnel, but today, it is a secret from the Covenant.
It really is a shame, right? Like I said, a lot of the groundwork is here to make this area look really good. Because, layout-wise, it's quite nice. It just needs, you know, the texture work, the graphics, right? Especially these trees. These are rough to look at.
Here's the entrance. This will take you right to the signal fires.
Secret tunnel. Yeah, and like this place also looks really rough. There's just not a whole lot going on. Like I said, same goes for every base game tunnel. They all look kind of dumpy. And this put us out all the way over here, which is nice. And it really is just kind of a hatch in the ground. Like, that could be a little bit more well hidden than it is. I do like this little bridge, although I will say it does not look very secure. Like, it's obvious that this is the bridge that they use for, like, Argonians. It's an Argonian-style bridge, but the later Argonian bridges that we get in the game look significantly better than that. They look more secure, oddly enough. That thing really just looks like it's hovering. Oh, hey! We can see, wow. Yeah, you can see Necrom from here. That's... what a crazy detail. Yeah, because you can see, Aldisra. That's really cool. See, that's what I'm talking about. And you can also see just the sheer difference in in design and architecture. It's very telling, right? Like, they're definitely going to make a lot of the base game look a bit more like that, I would say. Or at least the regions will be more consistent in terms of their layout and their design. We'll just ignore that guy. He won't catch up to us. Back to Dalmora. So we've got like 3 quests that we can turn in here, so we might as well do that first. Got this guy who's hanging out up here on this little watchtower.
So, how did it go?
Your idea worked great.
Excellent, yes? I'll let the commanders here know of our success. I hope we'll see each other again. Stay moist.
Stay moist indeed. And we got this guy down here.
Callie, Dolly was missing you. Thank you for bringing my family back together.
Did I get them all?
You did, Guar friend. They're all back. Palehide is already ruling the roost. Where would they be without me? I'll get them fed and ready to carry our things.
And one more.
It is under attack.
Oh, well, it's already starting.
I wish I could feel safe in town, but with the Covenant in Bal Foyen, nowhere is safe.
Did you all make it back safely?
We did, thanks to you. We are forever in your debt. We will think of you always in our passage down the river.
I will offer myself to the Pact army. The daggers will regret leaving Winoxi alive.
We're safe from the daggers, but we're still in danger. It's always this way when war looms.
You are the sun on my scales. I will think of you every day at evening meditation.
Alright, let's see what Aira's saying.
Thank Kine you've returned. Everyone, they're all gone. My family is gone.
Where have they gone, Aira?
They've gone to war, and they're outnumbered. I fear everyone we know will be dead before the day is out. Damn the Covenant. My family was happy. Well, maybe not happy, but they were content.
Aira, tell me what happened.
The Covenant attacked in force when they saw the signal fires. Even now, they're marching on Fort Ziren. Darj took some of the villagers there, including my men.
Should I go to the fort?
Hold up. Captain Rana learned of a second force headed to the Bal Foyen docks. She's leading a group of warriors to repel that attack, but without aid. I'm afraid you must choose.
I understand. I have to choose between the docks and the fort.
I know it's a hard choice, but you must go to the fort or the docks. Lend your strength where you think it's needed most.
Why hasn't the Covenant attacked Dalmora?
No idea. Perhaps their generals don't see a mud brick village as a threat. I wish they'd felt the same way about Bleakrock.
Aira, can you help me decide?
I don't know. Maybe I can help you talk it out. What do you want to know?
Won't the fort walls protect the refugees?
I want to think so, I really do. But the Bretons are known for their magic. If they could find a way through or around the walls.
And what about your family?
I trust you. You've already saved us once. If you decide to go to Rana's aid, I know it will be the right call. I know Darsh will win the day.
And can't Rana defend the docks without me?
Captain Rana knows her business, and she has capable people with her, including my daughter. But the docks have no walls, no defensive positions.
You let your daughter go with Rana.
I did. Trinhild is proud and stubborn, like her mother used to be.
So this is where they actually, they give us the choice, which one we actually want to go to. And honestly, every time I pick the docks, because the fort just seems safe? You know what I mean? Like, why would the fort even remotely be in danger? But we're gonna go to the docks. We're gonna help the docks out on this one. Just because the fort always seems so, well, safe. Should never really be in danger. It only makes sense to go to the docks. Also, I don't think we actually looked at the, oh, it's too late.
The Covenant flooded the docks. We tried to surrender, but they didn't want prisoners. Many of us were gutted and thrown into the sea.
Are there any still alive?
A few. We scattered. Some barred themselves inside, but the daggers put everything to the torch. If it wasn't for that crazy dark elf, I'd be fattening fish. You can't look for her now. Fishermen from the docks are trapped in the windmill. Rescue them before they burn.
I'll get them out. And once again, we get another instanced zone. They do a lot of this in the base game. They really don't do a whole lot of it in the DLC zones, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle it with future installments, per se. How the hell do you get in here? Ah, here we go. Cannot use that door, but I need to. Oh, I have to hit the door bar. Oh, jeez. Come on. There we go.
Sergeant Zane. You must help Zane.
Alright, let's hurry to the docks. And I do like how there is just, like, active combat going on. I'm not certain if we can see bodies. Like, if we can see any of the people that are, like, actively dying. Now we got Rolanda here.
The daggers are cowards. They attack the weak and hide behind tricks. These soldiers thought I was a defenseless farmer. I've corrected that error.
Yeah, so that means that other people could be elsewhere. So we'll do a quick sweep of the area just to be sure that we're not missing anybody. Yeah, these guys are still here.
They try to get to the hatchlings again and again. They have much to learn, yes?
Some of the daggers came up here looking for fresh game. That's not what they found. There are some civilian families here, but you can move on. I'll protect them.
I noticed there's like a big empty area up there, but alas, we cannot get inside. I wonder where, what's her name is? Trinhild. I don't see her anywhere. Like, at all. Interesting.
Help me hold off these daggers while the fishermen get away. I'm all right. Go find Trinhild and Rana. They're on the other side of the docks.
Help me.
I'm all right. Help me, I'm wounded. That's funny. Oh, these people want to fight too, huh? Or not.
I fell fighting beside Katarana. She hid me here and ran onto the ship. She's after the Covenant commander. He's the one who burned Bleakrock.
I'll go help her. Yeah, and it's on the boat. Like I said, it's funny, right? Because I guess we're just supposed to believe that it's a different ship entirely, but it's really not.
The commander of this vessel is the one who led the slaughter at Bleakrock. This ship will be his grave.
Where is he?
Below decks. Follow me.
Waiting on you. Alright, there we go.
The Breton dies here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Good. Here he comes.
Burn it!
And just some random incendiary.
Go. I'll meet you on the docks.
We should really get out of here. The ship is on fire. And then that's it. Fight over. We cut the head off the general, therefore the day is won. Not exactly how it would go, but I suppose it makes sense.
Greeting.
Hello.
Greetings.
Hello.
You did great, Trin. Don't worry. The healer will fix you up. She did great, didn't she?
I'll be fine, don't worry. The surgeon will get me patched right up.
I must never forget the lives lost because of my mistakes. I took a trophy from that Breton. It will remind me.
The wind sings a victory song, yes? I think I'll take some time to bask in the sun and forget about killing.
Just need a bit of a rest. Blasted stomp. Shouldn't have tried to kick with it.
Thanks for your help back there. We're now family by blood and steel. Don't worry, I treat my family well.
Weird.
My whole life.
And she just continues to say the same things that she said, like there was no great fight that occurred here. Where's this guy? Ah, he's in the ship. Right.
I understand I have you to thank for driving the Covenant from these docks. The Pact owes you a debt.
We held?
It's like the sun on your scales, isn't it? We almost lost these docks. All these people would have died without your intervention. Thank you. Saving lives is never a small victory. Head to Davin's Watch and speak with Holgen. Make sure they've been warned about the Covenant.
I'll talk to Holgen.
Get going. Holgen is a veteran and a decorated officer. He'll know how to handle the daggers.
And yeah, that's it. That's the entire quest of this zone. Now, there is something we do need to do before we leave here. And that is go to Fort Zeren. Because there is still more to be said. Still more to be done, in fact. And yeah, there's a lot of death. Quite a bit of death, but nothing that really, here we go.
I bring news from Fort Ziren. It's grim, I'm afraid.
What happened?
There were too many. The daggers opened magical portals and came right through the walls. The hunter Darge led a mighty defense. Those Earth-turners were fierce.
They're all dead?
Yes. The only one to survive was the wife Ira. Her husband apparently sacrificed himself to hide her in one of the fort's towers. Fear not. Darge and the others will be remembered.
So yeah, this is one of the few and only times in the base game, in the game period, where it really expects you to go and look on your own. And it's one of the things that I really like about this zone. This and Bleakrock combined actually make a really good pair. Just because of how tight the script is, right? And like I said, there's things that could be added to it, but to begin with, it's a pretty tight script. There's not really a whole lot of adding that needs to be done. I just think, in general, you can add so much more to this story and really make it shine beyond what it already is. Look, there's Mike.
Mike wonders why no guards stand watch on the mushrooms. They are taller than towers and far more comfortable.
Huh, weird. It's like from up here I can actually see more of the land than I could from the overlook. It's quite odd. I wonder if that's an oversight. But yeah, enough gathering screenshots. Let's take a look at the fort. Let's see the damage that has been wrought.
Things have never looked worse.
Iman didn't make it. It's just right off the bat, Iman didn't make it.
Is it best to hold the blade like so?
Yeah, no, they don't really say anything. There's also just like a lot of random refugees lying around. Oh, but the quartermaster survived.
Need a blade?
Isn't that lucky? Right, those are some things that I wish would change. The fact that basically everyone made it that wasn't our main characters. Oh, wait. Look who it is.
I'm sure we'll see each other again, friend.
Darge somehow survived. But Halmera, Galen, they didn't make it. Rexus survived, though, which is quite sad. I just think it's fun, like, Darge is still here. I wonder if that's an oversight. Ooh, look at that. Oh, good lord, yeah, that wall isn't quite connected. Not a good look. Yeah, many dead down here. Seemingly no one else. I do kind of wish they did a bit more storytelling with the bodies. I still can't get over Darge being alive. Like, he's the only one out of that whole bunch that survived this. Though I have a feeling that's not even entirely true. Like, I'm gonna see his body somewhere and they just forgot to remove him, and they never bothered to patch it. That'd be kind of funny. There's gotta be more around here somewhere. I know they said, what's-his-name tried to hide her in a tower. I guess not this one. There's Mola, she didn't make it. There's Darsh. Okay, okay, yeah, so they just forgot to delete Darsh. Oh, that's funny.
Feels like I've been at this forever.
That's really funny. Yeah, so Darsh is dead. He's actually dead. He didn't make it. Oh, we can't even go into the Fort Zarin Manor? Interesting. That's odd. I wonder why. It must only be for that quest. Like if you were to come here instead. Bizarre. Yeah, and all these refugees are still here. Right, like if we came here and the entire fort was dead, I'd understand it a bit more. But just seeing the fact that everyone that was here is still here makes it kind of funny. And then here we have Denskar and Litrick. They didn't make it. And their mothers, or the mother and wife.
My poor Denskar and Litrick. If only there'd been more of us.
Yeah.
What is to become of me?
And I do believe that's it. Those are the dead. That's the death toll. Is basically the group that we came here with gets cut in half, and they all die. Which is really sad. Although, like I said, I do wish, because they said they hid her in a tower, it would make more sense if they were in that building rather than just out and about here, but, you know, it is what it is, I suppose. But overall, Bal Foyen and Bleakrock as a pair, definitely one of my favorite tutorials, right? Like, Canarthy's Roost, I like it as a tutorial zone. It's definitely a more complete tutorial zone than the rest of these. But I think, as a whole, right, Bal Foyen just has, or Bleakrock and Bal Foyen as a pair, have a really strong narrative sense and a good theme going that it doesn't really betray at any point, and it does a really good job of doing what it's supposed to do. And beyond that, you know, Bal Foyen succeeds with its landscape where Bleakrock kind of fails. Now, I will be honest, the middle of Bal Foyen, as we are staring at it, is incredibly flat and lifeless, but that's mostly because it's just supposed to serve as a middle area where the Covenant is attacking and whatnot. I wish there was more going on there, and I wish it was a little bit more visually stimulating, because it is a pretty plain-looking plantation area. But beyond that, you know, the region's laid out pretty nice. I wish there was more going on with the Hidden Dagger landing site. Like, I wish there was, like, a boat out here or something that we could see to imply that, like, yes, they are out here, they have landed. But this place also does kind of have the same issues that a lot of the regions in this game do, where it's just like, you've got a lot of empty, unused space, right, that you really could have laid out for more. There could be more going on here than there really is. But I think Bal Foyen is tight. It's a good zone. It's very well put together. So you don't really have a whole lot of ridiculous overlap going on. It's very competently made. It just does need a visual overhaul. Like, Dalmora is a dreadful town. I hate it. I like spending more time at the docks. The docks is actually a town, whereas Dalmora it's a hovel. I wouldn't even call it a town. It's one big mud hut and then 3 other huts. There's more buildings at the docks. It's more of a town. It is much more of a town. In terms of sequel stuff, right, honestly, I don't see what more you could do in or around Bal Foyen. Right, just like with Bleakrock, I don't see what more you could do in or around Bleakrock. That place was pretty much finished. With the exception of maybe, like, you could do something with the Frozen Man. But really, everything else in those places is done. There's not much else you can do. Whereas Kynarthi's Roost did actually have, you know, sequel bait concepts going on. Like, I could see us returning to Kynarthi's Roost. I can't really see us returning to Bal Foyen or Bleakrock. And I really do like this region because it introduces you to the Morrowind zone by giving you a little taste of everything that Morrowind as a location in this game, anyway, a base game, has to offer. Because it really is a combination of Stonefalls and Deshaan in terms of design. And I like that a lot about it, and that's kind of why I'm so nostalgic for this region specifically, and why I wish there was more to do here. Because, like I said, in terms of quests, there's really nothing more we could do. Unless we were to say, you know, continue the story of the Earth Turners and whatnot, or maybe the other companions that we never ever see again. And I will say this, all of the survivors show up in Stonefalls for one little final send-off of their family members and friends, right? They get buried in Davon's Watch. But after that, we never see any of them again except for Eivor Earthturner, all the way in Riften. None of the other people ever show up again. And I think that would be a good opportunity, right? We could have Runs in Wild and Hawknir doing something, you know, have a quest with them, actually, you know, expand their characters beyond, oh, I'm just a hunter, you know, like, do something. Do something with these people, instead of just ignoring them, right? Like, I would like to see Sane and Rana again. That would be cool, because they never show up again. And it is quite unfortunate. But, beyond that, like I said, in terms of layout, this zone's actually great. In terms of looks, like I said, I think the Dark Elf architecture is fine. Maybe it could use more color, to be fair, right? I think it definitely, all of the Dark Elf architecture could use more of a gold trim to it. But beyond that, design is fine. Maybe you could bump the textures up even more, but I think as far as base game zones, the Dark Elf textures were really good. I'm not really sure how they would overhaul this stuff. Because I feel like changing the base game architecture too much would kind of cause a problem. But maybe because the zone is so close to Telvanni Peninsula and Stonefalls, maybe you could meld the two architectures in some way. And I could definitely see them changing Mournhold to be more authentic to what it was in Morrowind. I mean, it's fine, but as it stands, right, like, could be better. It really could. But beyond that, I think we've said all there is to say. Said there all is to ZB. Yeah, like I was about to have a stroke there. Goodness. But let's make our way to the actual end of the region, shall we? Which is over in this direction. I'm not sure if there's anyone we can actually talk to, but I do know that Stonefalls is just over the hill there, so that's it for Bal Foyen, and that's it for the Pact. Which means we are left with only one more zone to go. Is there anyone to talk to up here? Oh, I guess there isn't. Yeah. So I guess that'll do it for us here. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next episode, which will be Stros M'Kai and the Covenant. And that's the last tutorial zone. After that, we will have covered everything that has been announced to be changed. After the tutorial zones, I could only imagine that they're going to continue in order, so the next one would be Glenumbra, Stonefalls, and Auradon. However, because those are all full zones, I could only imagine that they'd come out piecemeal, if that makes any sense. So, like, the next one to release would be, you know, one of those 3, and then maybe later on down the line we get the next one and the next one. Just because I think overhauling the entire base game zones, it's going to take some time. They're not going to get it all done in one fell swoop. There's no way. So I think I've got time. But I should get started on those zones as soon as possible, just because you never know when those changes will come into play. Because who knows, maybe as soon as March hits, they'll already have the next zone ready to go within a month or so. So I'll have to get started on those areas as soon as possible. That being said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.